The station was quiet in the hours before artificial dawn. Most beings slept during this cycle, and the lights in the long corridors were dimmed to a soft blue. In a small private room near the outer maintenance ring, a human named Aaron sat alone. Aaron was not important on the station. He was a systems technician, hired because humans were good with broken machines and patient with old code. He fixed doors that jammed, power lines that flickered, and air filters no one else wanted to touch. Other species walked past him without looking. Some did not even learn his name. His room was simple. A narrow bed, a metal table, a screen showing repair schedules, and a small window looking out into the dark of space. Aaron liked the quiet. It made him feel safe. He was reading a maintenance report when the door alarm flashed red. Before he could stand, the door slid open with a sharp hiss. She stormed into the room. Aaron froze. The alien woman was tall, much taller than any human. Her armor was black and silver, marked with deep scratches that looked like claw wounds. Her skin shimmered with a faint inner light and her eyes burned like small stars. Aaron recognized her immediately. Commander Sareth of the Car Dominion. Everyone on the station knew her. The Car were feared across this sector. They were warriors born and trained for conflict. Even their diplomats wore battle gear. Sareth commanded a fleet that could erase cities. She did not pause. She did not speak. With a sudden, violent motion, she grabbed the front of her own armor and tore it away. Plates clattered to the floor. The heavy chest guard cracked in half. Straps snapped. Pieces fell around her feet. Aaron's heart slammed in his chest. Under the armor were not weapons or softness, but glowing lines across her body. Symbols burned into her skin, pulsing with unstable light. The air in the room seemed to shake. She stepped closer. "Human," she said, her voice low and strained. "You will obey." Aaron backed into the table, hands raised. "Commander, I think you have the wrong room." She ignored his words. Her breathing was uneven now, sharp and fast. The lights flickered. "I have initiated the binding," she said. "There is no time." The station trembled. An alarm screamed through the walls. Aaron's screen lit up with red warnings, power surges, core instability, unknown energy signatures spreading through the lower decks. "What did you do?" he whispered. Sareth turned her head slightly, as if listening to something far away. "I chose," she said. "The ritual demands it." The station AI activated, its calm voice cutting through the noise. "Alert! Ancient car protocol detected. Survival binding in progress. Human designation, Anchor." Aaron stared at the screen. "Anchor? What does that mean?" But the AI did not answer. Sareth staggered. The glowing marks on her skin flared brighter, then dimmed like a failing star. She dropped to one knee, the floor cracking beneath her weight. Aaron moved without thinking. He rushed forward and caught her arm. It was hot, almost burning, but he did not let go. "You're going to destroy the station," he said. "You need medical help." "No," she replied. "If I fail, the fleet fails. If the fleet fails, war consumes this sector." She looked at him then, truly looked at him. Her eyes were filled with pain, but also something else, fear. "My kind cannot endure internal collapse alone," she said. "Our power turns inward, we burn." Aaron swallowed. "So why me?" "Because humans survive weakness," she said. "You do not break when you are small." The station shook again. Somewhere far away, metal screamed. Aaron felt something strange in his chest, a pressure like invisible hands pulling at his thoughts. He gasped but stayed on his feet. "I don't know your rituals," he said. "I don't know how to help." "Obey," she said again, but this time her voice was not commanding. It was pleading. The symbols on her skin pulsed in time with Aaron's heartbeat. Suddenly, his screen changed. The warnings vanished, replaced by flowing alien data he had never seen before. Systems he did not have clearance for open to him. Power controls, fleet channels, internal car biology readouts. Aaron stared in shock. This shouldn't be possible." "You are linked," Sareth said. "The anchor steadies the flame." More alarms sounded, but now they were different. Stabilization alerts, containment holding barely. Aaron took a slow breath. "Okay," he said quietly. "Okay, then listen to me." She stiffened. "I'm not your soldier," he said. "I'm not trained for this, but I fix broken things. And right now you're breaking." The pressure in his chest eased just a little. "Sit," he said. For a moment the commander of 1,000 warships did not move. Then she obeyed. She sat heavily on the edge of his bed, the frame groaning under her weight. The glowing lines dimmed again, though they did not vanish. Aaron pulled a chair close and faced her. His hands shook, but his voice stayed steady. "Slow your breathing," he said. "Match mine." She hesitated, then followed. In, out, in, out. The room grew quieter. Outside the window, the stars seemed to steady. On the command decks across the station, alien officers stared in disbelief as chaos slowed without explanation. Power levels evened out. Weapons shut down. Engines stabilized. All of it traced back to one small room and one human who was never meant to matter. Sareth's shoulders lowered slightly. "It is working," she said. Aaron nodded. "Good, then we keep going." He did not know how long it would last. He did not know what would happen next. But for the first time in his life, the galaxy was listening to him. And it did not dare interrupt. The calm did not last. Aaron felt it first, a tight pull in his chest, like the bond was being stretched too far. The glowing lines on Sareth's skin flickered again, weak but unstable. The station lights dimmed, then brightened as if breathing with them. Sareth sat still on the edge of the bed, her hands clenched into fists. Sweat, bright and metallic, ran down her temples. "The binding is incomplete," she said. "The danger has passed for now, but the collapse has not ended." Aaron swallowed. He kept his breathing slow like he had before. The screens around him still showed systems far above his normal access level. Fleet data, life signs. Power flows that belong to ships light years away. "I'm still connected," he said. "Yes," Sareth replied. "You will remain connected until one of us breaks." Aaron did not like the sound of that. Before he could ask more, the door alarm flashed again. This time it was not red. It was a deep violet, the signal for high command authority. The door slid open carefully, not stormed this time. 3 car officers entered, each tall and armored, weapons powered but not raised. Their eyes went immediately to Sareth, then to Aaron. They froze. The symbols on Sareth's skin responded to their presence, glowing brighter in warning. The air grew heavy. "Commander," one officer said, bowing deeply, "the station is stabilized. The fleet is holding position. But the council demands answers." Sareth did not stand. "Tell them the anchor is active." The officers stiffened. They looked at Aaron again, disbelief clear even on their hard, alien faces. "A human?" another officer asked. "This violates—" "It saved us," Sareth snapped. Silence fell. Aaron felt a strange pressure in his mind, like distant voices trying to reach him. He flinched. Sareth noticed immediately. "Do not speak through the bond without control," she warned the officers. "You will harm him." The officers stepped back at once. Aaron exhaled. "So this is real. I didn't imagine it." "No," Sareth said. "You are now bound to the core of my being. Through me you touch the car network." "That sounds dangerous," Aaron said. "It is," she replied calmly. The officers exchanged looks. "The council will not accept this," one said. "Humans are classified as fragile auxiliaries, not anchors." "They are wrong," Sareth said. "They always were." She pushed herself to stand. Aaron stood as well, instinctively staying close. The bond pulled gently when he moved too far from her, like an invisible thread. "We must move," she said. "The binding chamber is safer." "Binding chamber," Aaron echoed. "It was built for this," she said, "long before your species reached the stars." They left the room together. The corridors were no longer empty. Crews of many species watched as they passed. Whispers followed them. A human walking beside a car war commander, unharmed. Some stared at Aaron with fear, others with sudden hope. As they walked, Aaron felt things through the bond. Not thoughts exactly, but emotions. Sareth carried a constant pressure inside her like a star trying to collapse, power without release, discipline holding back destruction. "How long have you been like this?" Aaron asked quietly. "All my life," she said. "All of us." The binding chamber was deep within the station, carved from dense alloy and ancient stone. Symbols similar to those on Sareth's skin were etched into the walls. The air hummed softly. As soon as they entered, the pressure eased slightly. Sareth stepped into the center of the chamber and knelt. "You must stand opposite me." Aaron hesitated. "I don't know what to do." "You already are doing it," she said. "You endure." The chamber lights changed, responding to his presence. Systems activated that had been silent for centuries. Through the bond, Aaron felt a surge of information. History, war, collapse. He saw images of car commanders who failed the binding, their power turning inward, destroying fleets and worlds. He staggered, gripping a railing. Sareth reached out, steadying him. Her touch was firm, grounding. "Why wasn't this shared with others?" Aaron asked, shaken. "Because our pride is stronger than our wisdom," she said. The station AI spoke again, its tone different now, almost respectful. "Binding stability at 40%. Human neural patterns show exceptional resistance to overload." Aaron laughed weakly. "Exceptional resistance." "I'm terrified." "Yes," Sareth said, "and still you stand." A ripple passed through the chamber. The bond tightened, then settled. Outside the station, ships across the fleet registered the change. Power harmonized. Weapons synced. For the first time in car history, the internal burn slowed without sacrifice. Far away, the Galactic Council watched the data with disbelief. A human name appeared at the center of it all. Aaron Hayes, technician, anchor. Aaron closed his eyes, steadying himself. "I don't want anyone hurt because of this," he said. Sareth bowed her head. "Then teach us how humans survive." And in that ancient chamber, the future of the galaxy shifted quietly, guided by a human who had never once believed he mattered. The bond changed the way Aaron saw the station. As hours passed inside the binding chamber, the flow of information no longer felt like a flood. It became a current he could sense and guide. He did not understand every system or symbol, but he could feel when something was wrong, like hearing a machine struggle before it failed. Sareth remained kneeling, her breathing steady now. The burning light on her skin softened into a controlled glow. For the first time since the binding began, her shoulders relaxed. "Stability has reached 58%, the station AI announced. "This exceeds all previous records." Aaron rubbed his temples. "That's good, right?" "It is impossible," one of the car officers said quietly. They stood at the chamber entrance, watching with careful distance. "No anchor has ever held this long, not even one of our own." Sareth opened her eyes. "Humans are not like us." Before anyone could reply, a sharp warning cut through the chamber. "External threat detected," the AI said. "Unknown fleet emerging from subspace. Trajectory, direct intercept." Aaron felt it through the bond before the words finished. A sudden tension, like the galaxy holding its breath. Sareth stood at once. Her posture changed, commander instincts returning. "Identify them." The chamber walls shimmered, projecting tactical data into the air. Ships appeared as red shadows, sharp and aggressive. "The Varun Collective," an officer said. "They must have sensed our instability." The Varun were scavengers and conquerors. They waited for moments of weakness, then struck without mercy. Aaron's chest tightened. "If they attack now—" "They will," Sareth said. "And our fleet is still fragile." The bond pulsed, responding to her rising stress. Aaron felt the old pressure begin to build again. He raised his voice without thinking. "Stop!" Everyone turned toward him. "Commander," he said, forcing calm into his tone, "you're pushing too hard." Sareth froze. No one had ever spoken to her like that during a crisis. The bond reacted instantly. The pressure eased. Slowly, Sareth nodded. "You are right." The car officers stared in shock. Aaron took a deep breath. "We don't fight like you do, not head-on when everything is unstable." The tactical display shifted as his thoughts brushed the system. Fleet formations responded to his intent, not commands. "I don't even have clearance," he whispered. "You have authority through me," Sareth said. "Speak." Aaron looked at the incoming Varun fleet. They were faster, aggressive, confident. "They expect panic," he said, "so we don't give it to them." He focused on the bond, imagining balance like aligning broken gears. "Pull the outer ships back," he said. "Let them think we're retreating." An officer stepped forward. "That exposes the core vessels." "It also stretches their formation," Aaron replied. "They'll rush to finish us." The AI paused, then spoke. "Simulation confirms a 46% chance of enemy overextension." Sareth lifted her chin. "Do it." Orders moved through the fleet. Across space, Varun commanders watched the car formation shift and smiled. They surged forward. Aaron felt the moment coming. His heart raced, but his mind stayed clear. "Now," he said softly. The bond flared. Hidden car ships powered up from cold silence, appearing inside the enemy's stretched lines, not attacking blindly but targeting engines and sensors. Confusion rippled through the Varun fleet. "They're panicking," an officer said in awe. "No," Aaron said. "They're adapting, we push just enough." He adjusted the flow again, careful not to let Sareth's power spike. The battle unfolded like controlled chaos. No reckless charges, no overwhelming force. Just pressure, release, and balance. For the first time, the car fought without burning themselves from the inside. Minutes later, the Varun fleet broke and fled, damaged and disoriented. Silence followed. In the binding chamber, the glow on Sareth's skin dimmed further, settling into a calm, steady light. "External threat repelled," the AI announced. "Fleet integrity stable." Aaron slumped against the railing, exhausted. "I didn't plan that," he admitted. "I just felt it." Sareth turned to him slowly. Then she did something no car commander had done in recorded history. She knelt again, not in ritual, not in weakness, in respect. "You did not obey," she said. "You led." The officers followed her movement without hesitation, lowering themselves in unison. Aaron stared at them, panic flaring. "No, no, please don't do that." Sareth rose and placed a hand over her chest, a car gesture of honor. "You showed us a way to survive without destroying ourselves." The bond pulsed warmly, no longer painful. Outside the chamber, news spread fast. A human had directed a car fleet, and the galaxy noticed. The galaxy did not stay quiet after that battle. Within hours, long-range relays carried the news farther than anyone expected. A car fleet had repelled the Varun collective with minimal damage. No internal collapse, no commander burnout. And at the center of the data logs was a human name, Aaron Hayes. Inside the binding chamber, the air felt different. Not heavy anymore, but alert, like a storm that had chosen not to fall. Aaron sat on the chamber floor, back against the wall, trying to slow his breathing. His body felt tired in a deep way, not just muscles, but thoughts. The bond still connected him to Sareth, but it was quieter now, like a steady hum instead of a roaring fire. Sareth stood near the center of the chamber, speaking softly with her officers. Their voices carried respect, but also uncertainty. "This changes everything," one officer said. "The council will not remain silent." "They already have not," another replied. "3 council signals are waiting." Sareth turned toward Aaron. "You should hear this." "I don't think I belong in a council meeting," Aaron said honestly. "You belong more than you think," she replied. The chamber walls shimmered again, forming a wide projection. Alien figures appeared one by one, each representing a major power in the sector. Tall crystalline beings, floating intellects surrounded by light, armored war leaders from species that had conquered worlds, and humans. A small human delegation sat together, looking confused and very uncomfortable. A deep voice filled the chamber. "Commander Sareth." "Explain this anomaly." Sareth did not bow. "It is not an anomaly, it is survival." Another voice followed, sharp and cold. You initiated an ancient ritual with a non-car species, a species classified as emotionally unstable and physically weak. Aaron felt a flicker of anger through the bond, but Sareth stayed calm. You confuse weakness with flexibility, she said. A human representative finally spoke. With respect, Commander, is this human under coercion? Aaron stood before Sareth could answer. His legs shook, but he stayed upright. No, he said. I wasn't forced, I was chosen, and I chose to stay. The council chamber fell silent. A tall avian delegate tilted its head. Why? Aaron thought for a moment. Because if I ran, people would die. And humans don't always win fights, but we're good at standing where things are breaking. Data streams lit up around the council. Medical scans, fleet statistics, energy readings. Internal car collapse reduced by 60%, an AI voice announced. Sustained beyond historical limits, murmurs spread. This threatens balance, a crystalline voice said. If humans can stabilize apex species, power structures will shift. Sareth's eyes hardened. Power structures built on suffering deserve to shift. The bond pulsed. Aaron felt her resolve strong and steady. A sudden alert cut through the meeting. Warning, the station AI said. Unauthorized vessel approaching. Varun's signature. No response to hails. Aaron felt it immediately. Fear surged through the bond, not from Sareth this time, but from the station itself. Something was wrong. They're not retreating, Aaron said. They're desperate. The projection shifted to external sensors. A single Varun ship burned hard toward the station, weapons charging far beyond safe limits. They mean to ram, an officer said. Evacuate the council channels, Sareth ordered. All hands to defense. The council feed cut abruptly. The station shook as shields powered up. But Aaron could feel the truth through the bond. The shields would hold, but the shock would destabilize Sareth again. The burning pressure started to rise. She clenched her fists. I can contain it. No, Aaron said firmly. Not alone. He stepped closer, placing his hand against the chamber wall. The systems responded instantly. Route excess energy through the bond, he said. Not into you, into the station grid. An officer hesitated. That could kill him. Aaron shook his head. I won't absorb it. I'll spread it. Sareth stared at him. You could lose yourself. He met her gaze. Or we lose everyone. The bond tightened, then shifted. Aaron felt the surge hit him like a wave, heat, pressure, noise. But instead of fighting it, he imagined what he always did with broken systems. Redirect, divide, balance. The station lights flared bright white. Power flowed into unused systems, dormant arrays, emergency buffers no one had activated in decades. Old human engineering principles mixed with alien tech. Outside, the Varun ship struck the shield. The impact shook the station violently, but the shield held. The attacking ship shattered, torn apart by its own reckless energy output. Inside the binding chamber, the glow on Sareth's skin dimmed again, settling into calm. Aaron collapsed to his knees, gasping. Sareth caught him before he hit the floor. Anchor, she said softly. Stay with me. I am, he whispered. Moments later, emergency crews rushed in. Human medics hesitated when they saw Sareth holding him, but she did not release him until his breathing steadied. Across the station, systems stabilized. Damage was minimal. Casualties were none. The council feed reactivated. Silence filled the chamber as the delegates looked at the aftermath data. A mechanical voice finally spoke. Conclusion updated. Humans are not fragile. The human delegation stared at Aaron with wide eyes. You redirected a fleet-level energy surge, one said. How? Aaron shrugged weakly. I didn't try to be strong, I tried to be careful. Sareth stood tall beside him. This is what humans offer, not domination, not submission, balance. The council took a long moment before responding. Then, one by one, requests appeared. Requests for human advisors, for human anchors, for understanding. Aaron looked around the chamber, exhausted and overwhelmed. He had started the day as a quiet technician. Now, the galaxy was asking humanity for help. And for the first time, it was not asking them to obey. The galaxy had changed, and Aaron could feel it in every pulse of the station. He walked through the wide corridors, still linked to Sareth through the bond, but no longer burdened by constant pressure. The glow on her skin had dimmed to a soft light, steady and calm, like embers after a fire. The station was alive in a way he had never noticed before. Crew members from dozens of species moved with a mix of respect and curiosity. Some whispered his name. Some stared openly. Aaron ignored most of them, focusing on the rhythm of the bond and the station's heartbeat. It was strange to think that humans, once overlooked, were now central to the stability of an entire fleet. Sareth walked beside him silently. Her presence was commanding yet controlled. She had allowed herself to lean on him in ways her species would never have tolerated with another car. Aaron felt a quiet pride that the bond had evolved beyond survival into something stronger, mutual trust. They entered the central command deck. Monitors showed fleets spread across the sector. The Varun threat had retreated completely, their attacks disorganized and their energy reserves exhausted. Yet the car fleet was not celebrating. They were learning, recording, preparing for the next challenge. One of the council delegates appeared on the projection screens. His crystalline form refracted light into shifting colors. "Commander Sareth, human Aaron Hayes," he said, voice resonant but calm. "The data confirms what we feared or hoped. Your actions have stabilized the fleet. The binding protocol succeeded beyond precedent." Aaron looked at Sareth. Her expression was unreadable, but the faint lift of her brows suggested something almost like pride. He spoke carefully, aware that the eyes of many species were on him. "I didn't do it alone. The systems were broken, the fleet was unstable, and the power was too much for one person. I just helped it find balance." The delegate nodded. "Humans, remarkable. Your species may serve as anchors for other civilizations in the future. The Council will discuss a new directive based on your involvement. It may shift interstellar diplomacy entirely." Aaron swallowed. He had never imagined being a key figure in galactic strategy. The thought was overwhelming. Yet the bond reminded him he had a role, and it was not just for survival. It was for guidance. He could influence things not by force, but by understanding, patience, and steady decision-making. Sareth placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. Through the bond, he felt her appreciation. "You have changed the rules of engagement," she said softly. "You've shown us that leadership is not domination." Aaron shrugged. "I just know what it feels like when things are breaking." The station AI interrupted. "Incoming message from Central Human Command." Aaron nodded and activated the communication channel. A human officer appeared, his expression a mix of awe and disbelief. "Aaron Hayes, are you managing a car fleet?" "Yes," Aaron said, "and keeping the station from collapsing." There was a pause. "The Council has issued preliminary recognition. They are requesting human representatives for liaison positions in multiple fleets. They want your input." Aaron blinked. "Me, really?" "Yes," the officer replied. "They've never had a human considered this influential before. Congratulations." Aaron closed the channel and turned back to Sareth. "Looks like humans are finally getting noticed." "Not just noticed," she replied. "Respected, needed." They walked to the observation deck, where the stars stretched in every direction. Fleets of multiple species moved in formation, coordinated and efficient. Humans, once considered small players, were now central. The bond between Aaron and Sareth had demonstrated something extraordinary. Humans could endure pressure, guide others, and survive where others would fail. A quiet alarm sounded in the distance. Not a threat, but a reminder. The galaxy was not static. There would always be challenges, conflicts, and chaos, but Aaron no longer feared them. He had learned to listen, to balance, and to lead in ways no one expected. Across the station, alien officers watched him differently now. They no longer saw a fragile human. They saw potential, guidance, and courage. A technician who had quietly repaired systems had become a symbol of stability. "Anchor," Sareth said softly, her voice carrying more warmth than before, "you have survived, and more than that, you have taught us." Aaron looked at her and allowed himself a small smile. "We've taught each other." Outside, fleets shifted in the darkness of space, responsive to the subtle human influence. The galaxy was no longer just a place of power and conquest. It had room for careful judgment, courage without recklessness, and leadership that came from understanding rather than fear. Aaron knew that the next challenge would come. There would be crises that demanded quick thinking, emergencies that tested resolve, and moments where survival seemed impossible. But he was ready. He had learned that humans could be anchors for more than just ships or stations. They could anchor hope, reason, and unity across entire civilizations. The bond with Sareth remained, but it had changed. It was no longer a desperate connection forged by ritual. It had become a partnership. A symbol that humans, when trusted and respected, could stand beside any species and lead without losing themselves. The stars outside continued to stretch in endless patterns. Fleets moved in harmony, the galaxy's chaos held in check not by raw power, but by careful thought and steady will. And at the center of it all, a human technician, once ignored, now guided the future. Aaron looked out at the vastness of space and realized something profound. Humans had survived countless small threats on Earth, learning to adapt, endure, and cooperate. That same resilience, he now understood, could echo across the stars. One human could make a difference. One human could anchor a civilization. One human could change the galaxy. He smiled faintly. The weight of responsibility was heavy, but it was a burden he could bear, because he knew now that humans did not just obey orders. They solved problems. They endured. They led. And in the silent hum of the station, with Sareth standing beside him, Aaron felt certain of one truth. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy. Not as a servant, not as a threat, but as a force that could hold worlds together, guide fleets, and inspire even the most powerful warriors to rethink what leadership really meant. The stars outside glimmered with the promise of endless possibilities, and Aaron knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would test them again. But this time, humans were ready. And so, quietly, without ceremony or fanfare, the galaxy had recognized the truth that Aaron had always known. Humans endure, humans lead, and humans, when trusted, can change the course of history. The galaxy had learned to listen. And Aaron Hayes, once a simple technician, had shown it how.